Right. Have you ever been frustrated with generating leads online and wanting to know the truth about lead generation and what really works online? Well, we have a great guest coming up today on the Radiant Business Podcast. They'll be unveiling that to you. So I'm Jason Ross, your host. I'm joined with co-host Terry Cleary. And I've had 11 years of experience in digital marketing as a professional web developer and SEO. And Terry can tell you more about
I,
herself.
yeah, I'm Terry Cleary, and I am a new small business owner. Recently, just started doing voiceover and started my own business doing it, and I'm still learning and want to continue to learn. That's why I'm here. And so today, the truth about lead generation, what really works online. Odin Zavier is known as the strategist behind multiple 6 and 7 figure business growth systems. With over 20 years of marketing and lead generation experience, Odin helps entrepreneurs turn cold traffic into loyal clients using proven frameworks, emotional buying triggers, and automation that scales. He runs Canada's Monday Mastermind and advises companies across industries on how to dominate their markets without wasting money on hype or guesswork. Welcome, Odin.
Hi, how you doing, Jason and Terry? Thanks so much for having me here today. I appreciate that.
Yeah, it's a pleasure to have you here as usual. Now, further you're wondering, I've been working with Odin as my own business coach since 2016, and this is being recorded in 2025, so do the math. That's been almost as many years as I've been in business, and I can honestly say that I would not be in business right now if it weren't for the work I've done with Odin. In fact, I also have 2 other businesses that I've more recently started that never would have had the chance to exist if it weren't for Odin.
Wow. That's great. Honestly, that's wonderful. I met Odin back in December of last year, and I loved actually the group. It was a wonderful group, and his knowledge, honestly, and I've been to many business seminars, most of them targeted to voiceover, and yours by far was the most that I got out of a business strategist ever. I can tell you for sure. And, everybody else just sort of glazes over and I think sort of gives you the bare minimum. You really go and give people every tool that they need. And that's what struck me when I was there.
Well, thank you so much, guys. I really appreciate that. It's true. I really enjoy providing real value to the people that spend the time with our group. You called it our tribe earlier on today. And it's really nice to hear such kind words. As a matter of fact, a lot of what I do is for testimonials. I find that, it touches me. I've got over 47 pages of testimonials.
Wow.
And I didn't start my business with testimonials. There's probably about 8 or 9 years where I didn't focus on testimonials as my number one kind of what I want to receive back from the philanthropy that I share. It is philanthropic what I'm doing. I find that a lot of businesses need help. And so what we've done is we've created a really nice model that allows us to help clients. And so today, what we're going to do is we're going to talk a little bit about the buyer's journey. And I'm sure you guys know what the buyer's journey is, but for some of those that don't know what the buyer's journey is, we're going to jump into that. And you guys just interrupt me, ask me questions. It's really interactive. That's how I roll. Energy flows.
And right? One thing I can definitely say with your methodology is there are a lot of businesses that fall through the cracks because there are a lot of people in your industry that'll charge thousands of dollars to $10,000 for a single weekend. And 95 to 99% of businesses cannot afford that.
Correct.
They simply do not have enough dollars in their bank account at any given moment to be able to pay for that. And I've been one of those.
And I totally relate right now. And I just wanted to ask before we dive in to the subject, I just wanted to ask, what was your path to get here?
That's a trick question because we talked earlier. Now you know it. All right, I'll share the story because it is kind of interesting. So my background is comparative religion and philosophy.
Wow.
That I wanted to relate to the most amount of people. And I realized that when you look at the math in the world, there's about 1.2 billion Christians, Catholics, to say.
Yeah.
And then you have about the same amount, more. I think it's about 1.4 to 1.6 billion people that are considered Muslims. And then you go to the Buddhists, and then you go to the Hindus, and then you go to the Sikh, and you go to the Jewish traditions. And so I studied all of these traditions, and from that, I actually got involved, funny enough, in astrology. I wanted to know more about myself. We're talking when I was 18. I'm a little older than 18. I'm 19 now.
Aren't we all?
Yep. 21 is fine too. And so I actually
you're going to a bar.
There you go, in the U.S. Yes. Yeah. And so what happened was I actually, I have a testimonial that I went to local Douglas College, and I went and I got that business done, and there was a lot of questions that I had, and it was a good starting point. But ultimately, from 2001, that's when I started that business, and I doubled my business every year. I was able to buy real estate because of doing that, which is pretty amazing. And then from there, in 2000...
wasn't it mostly also in the Vancouver area market as well, which is one of the most expensive places to buy real estate in the world?
Yeah. Yes, I am aware of that, actually.
So I'm also, I'm a Reiki master and a teacher. I actually did a 3-year apprenticeship, old style, for learning how to do that. I've taught a number of individuals. I have a holistic background.
That must have been an incredible experience.
Yeah. It's different.
Yeah,
it's different than what I do today.
Is.
Very emotional because you're dealing with people and on emotions. And I manifested, I use that whole process to manifest, to create. And I've done pretty.
And I'm just starting that journey right now. So just letting you know. I mean, I'm just finally getting to a point where I can do that now, and I can, finally see where I can do it now. Where before I was sort of stuck in place, and now I finally worked out, the bulk of the things that I need, and now I'm ready to actually move on to this step.
To manifest, to create.
So how did you make the jump from, doing this type of stuff to becoming an expert at lead generation for businesses?
It's a great question. Well, I went through the buyer's journey. I was doing group presentations. I had a buddy of mine that realized that I can fill rooms, and I had no marketing or sales experiences. I was just able to fill rooms, and he took advantage of that. And we put together the 4 elements of marketing system for holistic practitioners. And it just totally went off. It was fantastic. It was great. We had great success with that. And then what happened was my buddy went and found a company that he went and bought into, and I think he purchased his license for $35,000, and I purchased mine for $45,000. And part of their whole process was they were going to train us how to do all of this. So they ended up getting us they got me 7 clients. And in that first year of doing business coaching, I literally just destroyed anything I did previously with the other business. And so I realized, wow, this is amazing. And I was actually working at Royal Bank at the time too. I'm a former banker. Yeah. So I was doing all these cool things. I wanted to learn how money worked. And so my whole idea was that these hands are going to touch millions of dollars, and they did. So polarize myself to millions of dollars. So everything was intention, right? Everything's intention. And so I went through the buyer's journey, and everyone goes through the buyer's journey. And And I just want to just move back up for a moment. I want to talk about how 95% of businesses fail within the first 5 years. And from those 5% that succeed, 95% of them fail after 10 years. The failure rate in small business is atrocious. And so between 2007 and 2016, I did lots of presentations, so many presentations, I lost count. I did 7 presentations in 1 week, as a matter of fact. That's my world record. And that's all to generate leads. All of that is lead generation, just old fashioned. I would buy breakfast, I would buy lunch, I would fill the room with 15 to 20 business owners. We'd have a workbook. Essentially, it's an interview for what it is that I was going to provide them, and did very, very well. In 2016, I decided I was going to phone the guys 10 years previously. And I mean, if the stack of cards I have it's actually a huge box. It's one of those blue boxes. It's filled with yellow cards. So we're probably talking about maybe 1,500 or 2,000 businesses I sat with. I ended up contacting all of them and realized that they're all out of business. 3 of them weren't. Everyone else was. So I started changing the way that I was doing. And what I've done is we put together something called a Monday Mastermind, which you guys are both a part of, as a matter of fact. And so then what we do is we talk about a whole series of different different business topics, 30 foundational elements that every business needs. And it doesn't matter if you have AI, if you're using it or not using it. These are the foundations of having a successful business so that it lasts past the 5 and 10 year mark, like Jason, as a matter of fact. Yeah. And so what we're going to be talking about when this podcast airs is we're going to be talking about lead generation. And specifically, we're going to be going through 2 different sessions. So some of the sessions are so long that we break them out into 1 or 2 or 3 different sessions on our masterminds. And what we talk about, and we're going to use lead generation as an example. So writing copy. Everything stems from writing copy. And what we do is we write copy. And I should just step back. If you don't know what copy is, it's the writing and it's the message on your website. And the writing and the message on your website needs to capture the attention of the person who's going through the buyer's journey.
Yeah. So essentially what copy is, it's writing for marketing.
Yes. And let's talk about marketing for a second. What is marketing? Marketing is the way that we educate groups of people on what it is that we do.
That's right.
So marketing is like a mass message, let's just call it. So I have this product, for instance, a widget, whatever it is, and I want people to know what the widget is. So I'm going to talk about all the things about what this widget does. Features, advantages, benefits, all the old style stuff. But what we do is we go a little bit further. We identify exactly what the emotional pain buttons are of our target market. And then what we do is we call that out. We say, hey, are you trying to generate more leads, but you're kind of lost on how to do it? That's one example. Or are you tired of listening to all those marketing guys on Facebook and Google and all that say they can help you generate leads, but they only ask you for thousands of dollars, and you realize that you're the lead that they wanted instead of them giving you leads? And that's another hot button. Those are just example hot buttons. And so what we do is we use these hot buttons in order to create an interest. And the hot button is meant to actually get the attention. And then what we do is we engage an individual. And the engagement part is with a subheadline that says, and guess what? This isn't just some other group that's going to take all your money and then leave you broke and out of business.
Exactly. No, and I felt that the first time I was there. Honestly, I did. And I have been to so many different groups, and I'm telling you, no one gives the depth of information that you give. No one. And I probably have been to at least 10 in the last 8 months. Okay. And nobody gives that kind of information. You need to definitely come to the group for sure.
Well, I've given you guys $20,000 worth of grants to give away to individuals that are listening to this podcast and that want to actually have a hand up in their business. So
Yes.
you guys give those grants away to people that you think really need that hand up, and they're going to put their hand up and they're going to say, I like this. I like what's happening here. I like the fact that, like, Jason basically said, Odin is not expensive. And guess what? He's kept me in business for a long time. And as a matter of fact, he makes money because of me.
Right.
Right. And I want everyone here to be in that same kind of situation. And so it does take effort. It does take time. It does take thought. There's nothing get rich quick about this.
No.
But it's definitely, I mean, guys, I have a home in Vancouver. Like, I have a house in Vancouver. Okay?
Exactly.
All right.
And
so
in stark contrast, I live with my mother. So there you go.
Well, I mean, I live with my mother-in-law.
I'm just pointing out the extremes, and Jason somewhere in the middle. And, it's just interesting, because anybody and everybody can benefit from what you have to say. You can be a seasoned business owner and come to your group and still
100%.
get valuable information that you can use to keep yourself in business
100%.
during difficult
or to overcome
times.
a plateau where you've hit a certain glass ceiling where you just can't seem to grow any further than that.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. I mean, businesses run into all kinds of things throughout their life. And, my ex-husband and I owned a business 30 years, and it had ebbed and flowed like you wouldn't believe. And in order to survive that, you have to know certain skills and certain ideas to put in place beforehand so that you can survive those times and still get new business, still stay in business.
Well,
You need that kind of knowledge. And my ex-husband, he luckily had a degree from a very prestigious business school. And so he knew that information. I unfortunately don't. And so I'm trying to learn it.
Well, let's talk about that for the last couple of minutes. I mean, a lot of people feel like lead generation online is expensive or exhausting or ineffective. Guess what, guys? You're not alone. A lot of small business owners, and Terry's one of them, thinking, that exact same thing. But there are better ways without having huge budgets or needing an agency. And what we do is we do everything kind of grassroots. So we do use social media. We do use growing LinkedIn, growing Facebook, doing groups, and doing initial outreach. It's all important. And what we do is we set up what's called a low cost, no cost lead generation model first. We generate leads. And we do conversions, and we get people to buy our product. Sometimes they buy more than once, which is even better. And then from that, what happens is we set up a really nice budget. And from that budget, you can start scaling because you understand your metrics, your key performance indicators. You understand that your messaging is going to work. One of the things that we use on our websites is something called Clarity. It's free Microsoft product. What it does is it lets you know when somebody comes onto the website, and it shows you where they click, and it shows you how far down they scroll, and it shows you everything. It's free from Microsoft. It's great. If you have a better tool, go ahead and use it. And what we've done with a number of our clients is we look at that weekly, and we'll change our headlines. Just the attention-grabbing headline. Just the, hey, you want to create better leads, or are you exhausted with not generating the leads that are sufficient for you? That kind of stuff. And with us training that and changing that, we've been able to increase the conversion rate substantially. It's really wonderful what you can do with lead generation. I mean, the idea is bold headlines, bite-sized information, and emotionally charged content that is actually valuable. And what I mean by valuable, we're going to actually give away 95% of the secrets. There really are no more secrets anymore. The secret is doing the actual work. That's the secret. Doing the work, or finding easy ways to do the work. And that's where we've introduced AI on our weekly sessions. And what we do is every week we have one of our classes. I press play. I show you what we're going to be doing with the AI training and the prompts. You can use any AI you want out there. There's a whole bunch of different ones. And then, go ahead.
I ended up getting Chat GPT Plus because of you guys.
Well, there's another one out there called Manus, and it's just so different. And it's agentic in the sense that it does more. I shared it last week, and a whole bunch of people already adopted it, and they're saying, wow, this is way better than ChatGPT. It's not better per se.
If you're using OpenAI, they also do have a search function as well. It's less well known. It's called Search GPT, which is their big challenge to Google, throwing the gauntlet down, and they are starting to kick Google's butt.
Are they really? I didn't even know, and so wow,
I just found out there's a deep
Google. I actually just found out earlier this week their market share has actually fallen below 90% now, and right now the big mover that's doing that is OpenAI.
Because of Bing. They do all their search engine through Bing.
Yeah.
Microsoft. Yeah, it's pretty wild what's happening out there.
No.
So let's talk about the 7 mistakes most people make before hiring a contractor and how to avoid them as an example of a great headline that people can be using. So how can you use that? The 7 mistakes that people make before hiring a website designer. First of all, you shouldn't hire a website designer. You should hire a copywriter or someone like Jason that understands the 4 elements of marketing, because they're going to be able to really position that website really well. They're going to be able to follow the 4 elements of marketing. And we spent countless amount of hours with Jason really perfecting that and making sure that people don't make those mistakes. And make sure you get a specialist.
I can hire the web designer to make sure that they're implementing designs that fit in with the marketing strategies.
Precisely.
And the copywriter and all that stuff.
Exactly, precisely. And the other thing is making sure that you don't do something called a false beta. And a false beta is where you make a promise, 7 mistakes that people make before hiring a contractor and how to avoid them. But underneath what you do, you just say, get my special report, and it doesn't give any information of what's in the report. So typically for every one hot button, what we do is we provide 3 valuable insights. So for instance, for voiceovers, did you know that you should be using voiceovers for your website? When people come onto the website, it should have a beautiful voice and say, hey, thanks so much for coming to our website. The first thing you need to check out is this section over here. And that voiceover can really...
You want to elevate your site and put yourself above everybody else. Add the element of voiceover to your website. Add the element of voiceover to your telephone system. Even if you are a 2-person business,
by the way,
it comes across to the caller as more professional.
So we're just talking about lead generation, and if you've ever felt like lead generation online is expensive and exhausting or ineffective, you're not alone. There's definitely better ways. And so some of the things that we talked about, just kind of recap what we've done. It's very often what we do in our sessions is what we'll do is we're going to tell you what we're going to tell you. And then what we do is we tell you what we just mentioned. We go through the process. And then what we're going to do is we're going to recap everything that we've just done. So when it comes to lead generation, it's important to have a swipe file. It's important to have, and a swipe file is a bunch of other copywriting experts or copy that you find out there that you really like that's in relation to your particular business that gets attention, engages, educates, and offer. There's a whole bunch of stuff that you can find online on my YouTube page, for example, that talks about that. The other thing you want to do is you want to follow the 4 elements of marketing, which is get attention, engage, educate, and offer. It's not just enough to create that desire. What you got to do is, we were just also talking about how when you're creating a message, it's not good enough to just create one message about the contractor and not give actual information. It's called a false beta. And so what you're wanting to do is you're wanting to ensure that you're giving actual real information, something that can take a person's pain, fear, frustration, problem, stress, whatever that is, and relieve it, or at least give a promise that you're going to be able to relieve that pain issue. And then at that point, what you can do is you can have people sign up. Now, people do email and name and phone, with the name and email typically, but what we've found out is that a phone number is also really good for exchange. Some people don't use phone numbers, some people do. We've always said that it's better to have a phone number, because then what we can do is we can send out information. And remember that it's the education spectrum. So if somebody doesn't want to necessarily share that information, you put enough content on your website that they're going to say, hey, I need to actually take part in this. And so the idea of lead generation is to have people purchase. So we are assistant buyers. So we're helping other individuals buy a product and service that we actually really believe in, that we happen to actually provide as well. So it's not so much we're getting people to buy or that we're selling. What we're doing is we're assisting them in making a purchase decision through the education spectrum.
Yeah, right. Usually the way I like to describe it is you're connecting a person with a problem with the solution to their problem.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's what I do a lot of in voiceover is corporate branding. That is exactly what that is. When you are on hold and you hear on hold messaging that is either explaining something about the company or telling you about specials or things that are going on for this month or during holidays, that's exactly what that is.
Nice. So you can be attention shop owner or shoppers. We have this special here. Yeah, sometimes I go into big organizations that should have a voiceover expert saying all of these things, and they just press a button. But usually, what you hear is when somebody goes over the phone, I just really don't understand what they're saying. It's not articulated. It's not clear.
You have a lot more AI today, and people don't respond to it very well. In fact, customers complain about it the most, and they don't feel like anybody real is ever going to come to them because everything's AI. So, there have been some big companies try it out, and they realized, oh, wait a minute, our customers don't like that. So they're coming back into the fold of VO now, and how important that human connection really is in your business. And all of the things that you can teach somebody, the human connection part is the most important part of it.
It is.
All of that other stuff, you can have everything. And if you don't have that connection with your customer, you're not going to make any money. You're not going to be the one in business in 5 years, 10 years down the road. So, that is a huge part of what you do in business is customer service, even if you are a single person business.
Very, very true. Very true. Well, I'm going to recap so that we can kind of wrap up for everybody. So basically use emotional headlines and depth. What you're wanting to do is you want to drip out content over time, and you want to lead with value. I think that is, I get that's the golden rule in this particular case. Always provide an actual value for individuals. The way that we use AI is we use AI to make our marketing easier, our copywriting easier, our blogs, our social media, our plans. We even use it for automation. But we'll always have that HI component, the human intelligence component, overseeing it. And it's ultimately us humans that are connecting with other humans. So we just use it to make sure that what used to take me weeks of time now takes me hours of time. I'm going to show you how to do that on our sessions. So great. People don't want to be sold. People want to feel smart for buying. So have people feel smart for what it is that they're purchasing with you. Very important. And start writing your 10 questions. And this is a really good, this is what I'm going to recommend. Write down 10 questions that people typically ask of you and your company, and then write the answers for it. Do it in video, small 1 minute to 2 minute videos, and then write another 10 questions, which is what people should be asking you about your business, but never think of it. And so you're actually assisting them in buying whatever it is that you have, or whatever your product and service is. And then what you can do is you can actually put one or two of those videos onto your website, and you can have people sign up for all of those 20 videos.
Right.
Which is a really great loss leader, right? People need to know. People need to know that kind of stuff. And also, create some kind of magnet when people are coming to your website. Create multiple magnets. The best businesses that I've seen have multiple lead magnets. and not just one or two or three, but multiples. For instance, we have, I believe it's 17 different presentations that we provide, 90-minute long presentations. We do our best not to repeat one every single year. I've just come up with a brand new one, so I guess it's like 18 presentations now, and we release those strategically over time. And so that's one of our loss leaders. And so what you want to do is maybe write a checklist, give some sample scripts, basically even a script from today's video would be great. That the what to do, what to remember. Maybe use AI to create a summary of what people can do for lead generation. You provide that as a free way for people to sign up for your weekly podcasts, because you're going to be giving such incredible value like this every single week. And then that gives a reason to continue, for people to continue down that buyer's journey. And ultimately, when they're ready to buy, the idea is that they buy from you. And so, guys, I'm going to wrap up with that. Hopefully that somebody here got some good little tips, just one little nugget that they can walk away with. And remember, you guys have been given 4 of our mastermind sessions worth $5,000 each. So create some kind of contest, get it out there somehow, have people join you on our masterminds. And I look forward to seeing you there, and I look forward to seeing everyone that's listening as well.
Yeah, certainly. Thank you. Certainly one way that you can get your qualify for this would be to start with subscribe to our channel if you're on YouTube, follow us if you're on Rumble, or use whatever mechanism it is if you're coming to us on any platform like Spotify or anywhere else, to make sure you're staying up to date on our contents. Give us a comment, ask questions, so that we can come back in, look through and answer anything that you didn't learn about here. And we'll also be providing you with a link in the description down below where you can get in touch with us and find out how you can get onto Odin's weekly mastermind sessions every Monday.
I'm gonna throw in a little offer here for anyone that replies back to you on this session today. What you can do is you can ask those questions to me directly, and I'll create a video that you can upload specifically for those. I'll answer all the questions via video, and you can share that with those individuals. And I'm going to go in depth. You guys know, you get a feeling of who I am. I'm going to give actual value. I'm going to actually help you out.
Yes, you are. I really appreciate all the information that you've given us today. It was well worth listening, and I hope that our listeners are going away with some valuable things to carry on for them and their businesses as well.
Give real value, touch the hot button, make sure that you're actually solving a problem instead of just promising and you don't deliver. That sucks. People don't like that. You'll never get business if that happens. and ultimately create a way for them to engage and interact and create a relationship so they can become part of that tribe and that group of growing business individuals.
Absolutely.
Staying in business.
Absolutely. I love it. I love it. Well, thank you so much. Jason, any final words for us?
Yeah, I would say the final thing is to remember that your voice matters and your message matters. And when you speak and communicate with clarity, leads and conversions will follow.
Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Yeah. Come back again, listen to our next episode. I'm sure that you will enjoy it and get a lot of information out of it as well.
And thank you, Odin, for coming on and sharing your words of wisdom. And we look forward to seeing many people showing up on your Monday calls as a result of this podcast. And we'll see you all then.
Thank you.
Bye, everybody.